In this tutorial, I'm going to explain what is WP debug mode, why or when do you have to enable the WP debug mode, how to show the errors in your web pages or in your HTML pages, how to save your errors in a log file. Welcome to WordPress with Riffaz. WordPress is a content management system that's based on the PHP. Troubleshooting PHP is a major part of any project that built on the PHP. WordPress comes with a built-in debugging system to simplify your process and to make sure the theme and the plugins are built seamlessly or compatible with each other. When or why do you have to enable the WP debug mode? When something is not right in your site. For an example, if the plugin doesn't work or the site doesn't work as expected, or one plugin causing issue with another plugin called incompatible issue, or a very frustrating situation for a new WordPress user is a blank screen. So when you see a blank screen on your site, you can definitely say that something is not right within your site, and when you enable the WP debug mode, you can see what is causing that issue in your site. And when you know that, you can try to solve it. Also, please note, enabling WP debug mode in a live site is not recommended because your visitors, your audience, or your users will see the error messages, warnings, or the PHP failed errors in the front end. That could cause some security issue as well. For an example, if a fatal error, your site may show you database details in your front end. So that is definitely something you should avoid. So always make sure, or it's always recommended, to enable the WP debug in a development site or a site that is in under construction mode. Okay, what are the PHP problems you can encounter in a WordPress site? There are three types of problems in PHP that you can see when you enable the WP debug mode. The first is PHP Notices, which are least important. It's not going to break your site. This script could encounter something that indicate an error, but could also happen in the normal course of running the script. No, this is not going to break your site. And the second issue is PHP Warnings. PHP Warnings deserve more attention. PHP Warnings also not going to break your site, but still you have to pay some attention. In future, it will create some issues, such as depreciated functions. For sure, definitely, a depreciated function is not going to work after a period of time. So in a PHP warning, if you see a depreciated function, that means, or that's not going to be used in near future. So in that case, you have to pay more attention and to try to solve it. But please note, this is also not gonna break your site. Still, you can work with your site, but PHP warning deserves more attention. Here is an example of PHP warnings. As you see, the message started with the bolded text that shows warnings. So that's a warning. By reading the whole line, you can understand where the warnings comes from or what is causing this warning. The warning bolded text will be replaced as notices if there is a PHP notice. Okay, the last PHP issue is PHP fatal errors or PHP errors. Most important kind of PHP problem in a WordPress site. Errors are fatal runtime errors. It will break your site, because when a fatal error happens in a site, in a WordPress site or in our PHP systems, the script will be halted. So the script below the line, PHP failed error happens, will not be executed. So your site will not be able to function properly. For an example, we can say if the WP memory limit is not enough, that's obvious. Your site's not going to work if you see a fatal error in your site. Okay, to enable the WP debug mode, first what you have to do is define the PHP constant in your wp-config file. I'm going to show this in my localhost WordPress installation. I'm opening my shame, starting my localhost, mounting my localhost drives, and now I can go to localhost 8080 plus wp1. So I'm going to log in wp admin. Okay, I forgot to enable the localhost 8080 here. I'm enabling the localhost 8080. Okay, now it's loading. So if you guys don't know how to install the WordPress in your localhost, just check one of my previous videos. You can check in my video list, and you can see there are few pretty easy steps that you can follow to install the WordPress in your local host. Logging in, admin test at 123 is my password, as I show you in my previous videos. Okay, it's loaded. If I go to the front end now, it works fine without any issues. When you come to your wp-config file of your site, you can see by default the wp debug is false. Let's make it true. Save it. Go to your 2020 functions.php inside your localhost the WordPress installation, which is here, wp1 wp content themes 2020 functions.php, open with my text editor. So here I'm putting a test, so echo test functions bracket close. This is how we call a function in PHP, and it is an undefined function, so it should trigger a fatal error. So normally when you make wp debug mode true in your wp-config file, it should show the error here. Okay, we are seeing it here. So it's in your front end, you are clearly seeing that something is wrong on your site. It says fatal error, so your site not gonna work, your site breaks already. And it says call to undefined function test functions, which is inside your wp installation, wp content themes 2020 functions.php file, and the line is 762. If you come here, functions line is 762. So it's showing in your front end. In some hosting it won't be shown like this if you enable the wp debug true only. In that case, go to WordPress debugging, in WordPress. So if you come here, you should add this one as well. You should wp debug display to be true to show the WP or WordPress PHP errors like this. But in some hostings, if there's a lot of long or lengthy line, or too many lines of fatal errors, it's not convenient to see them in the front end, or we don't want to show this for the users. Then in that case we have to serve these errors in a file, and we can do that just by adding the wp debug.log true, this line. So now we can see the debug.log after enabling the wp debug.log true is here. Logging to the wp content, and inside that you will see a file called debug.log. Let's check our installation. Here, wp content, do we see any error.log file? No, right? Because we didn't enable it yet to log the errors here. So let's come back here, copy this, define wp debug.log true, come to the bracket, where's my bracket? Yeah, adding this wp debug.log is true. Don't forget to serve your wp-config file after adding this line. Come back to your site and refresh it. Now you still see this. And if you come to the Finder and go to your wp content folder, inside that, so where is the wp content folder? Inside my localhost wp1 installation, and then wp content folder. Inside that, here is the debug.log. If we open this, the text editor, I can see the same error here. So it's been served in a separate file called debug.log, and it says the same error here. It says fatal error here, fatal error, call to undefined function, undefined functions, test functions to PHP. Here in your function.php file 762. So now we know we have to check this line in and this file. So if I come back to brackets, and if I go to functions.php, and if I remove this, save it, and now it works fine. So this is how you enable the WP debug mode in your wp-config file. You can simply copy this whole whole lines from the official WordPress site, copy this and go to your wp-config file and replace your already defined PHP constant with them. Now as you see, wp debug is true, wp-log is true, and I'm going to make it as well as true, and script debugging, everything is true. So it will show the errors in your front end, and also it will log your file in the debug.log. This is how you enable the WP debug mode in your site. That's all, folks. I want to thank you for watching my video until the end. Do subscribe. Don't hesitate to ask if you have any doubts in the comment section below. I'll try my best to answer them. Hit the bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a new video.